we're going to talk college football because the committee's rankings came out. The college football playoff is set, and me and Josh last week, Florida State fans, we tried to tell you,
Hey,
but you did not listen. And the committee, for the first time in freaking a decade, I almost actually said the real F word there because I'm really passionate about it. The committee has no idea what the hell they're doing. They finally got it right. Now, we may disagree on the order because I think that you believe, and I could be wrong, that Washington should be the number one team. I don't. I think I've said it all year. I think Michigan is the number one team in the country. But I like Michigan, Washington, Texas, Bama. I love the order of it. I think the order makes sense. And, besides Florida State, the team to me that actually got screwed, believe it or not, was Georgia. I feel bad for Georgia. They lost one game this year by 3 points. They're back-to-back defending national champions, and they go from 1-6. I think that is wrong, and I get it. You're not supposed to build on reputation, but Georgia to me is still a very good team. Unfortunately for them, Texas, they only had one loss, and they did beat Bama. So you had to put Texas in there, and you had to put Washington in there. But everybody that wants to make this a hard decision, this wasn't hard. Florida State was not good without Jordan Travis. I didn't even think that they were that great with Jordan Travis. And Alabama, after losing to Texas, and we came on here that Tuesday in championship rings and said, we think the dynasty's over. They recovered, they battled, and I got to tell you, I think they have a real shot to not only beat Michigan, but win the whole damn thing.
I would say right now, if I had to pick a favorite, I would say Texas.
Wow. See, I disagree with that. I think Michigan Bama is the championship game.
Ooh. That's definitely, let me say it like this. I don't disagree with you about that, but I would still give Texas the slight edge over both of them. Does that make sense?
Thing. I think that if Bama and Texas were to play, when I'm really intrigued about this Michigan Bama game, because I think Bama on the lines, I don't think the matchup necessarily is great at skill position, and JJ McCarthy may just make a few more special plays than Milroe, which is why I think Michigan should be the favorite. But I think that those two are probably the best two teams. I like Washington. I like Texas. But I don't think their defense is as nearly as good as a Bama or a Michigan.
See, I think Texas's defense can match up with Michigan and Alabama. But I totally hear what you're saying. It is not the same Alabama team that we saw back in week 2. The only reason I'm a little disappointed about it, even though I agree with you about the 4 teams, they got it right. But it took Alabama basically a failed defensive play by Auburn to win that game. So that's my only question about Alabama.
It did, but here's the thing. They did end up winning the SEC championship game, and you're not going to take the SEC champion out. It wouldn't make no sense to put Georgia in, because we both agree Florida State should have not gone. No. So it makes no sense to put Georgia in over Bama. And once you put Bama in, you had to put Texas in. I thought the real argument was between Texas and Georgia. But obviously, once Texas beat Bama, you have to put Texas in, so there is no argument, really. This to me, and I said this, and I know you'll listen to my take today on Brandon's word. I'm going to bring this up with you real quick. This conversation, to me, is why it was a huge mistake, in my opinion, for the committee to expand the playoff to 12. I could hear conversations for expansion to 6, potentially 8, but I think 12 is way too much. I enjoy these conversations. I think it's what makes college football great. You have to be perfect in order to essentially make the college football playoff. Next year, these Ohio State, Michigan, these Georgia, Alabama, Auburn, these games are going to matter for rivalry purposes, but they're not going to mean as much because Ohio State loses or Michigan loses, they're still going to be in the college football playoff. Penn State, they lost to both Michigan and Ohio State. They're still ranked number 10 in the country. They would be in the college football playoff next year. Missouri would be in. And I just don't think that those are great teams. And I get it. They're doing it for more TV ratings, more money, more revenue, etc. But if we want to get the best competition on the field, college football's regular season is special, and I think it got dampered a little bit, even though obviously the Big Ten and SEC are going to expand. I still don't think that the decision was the best to go from 4 to 12. I think it was too much of a jump.
I hear that. So I was hearing this from from the likes of Stephen A. Smith and others. The committee, I think, has 5 of its members, including the head, are connected to the ACC. Have you heard about this?
I have not. Go on.
But I believe if I heard this correctly, don't quote me on it, but I believe it was 5 of the 13 or however many members are on the committee are connected with the ACC in some fashion. What conference is Florida State from?
The ACC.
The ACC. What team got left out of the college football playoff?
The ACC.
Exactly. But the bigger story for me is, even though Georgia lost, you weren't going to keep the SEC out either way, whether it was Alabama or Georgia. Because the SEC, you and I have discussed this, the SEC is the perennial conference in college football.
Is it now? Because I've been saying it for years, but I think now you can make a strong argument, especially next year it's the Big Ten.
Okay. Hey, speaking of SEC and Big Ten and stuff, the Heisman Trophy finalists got announced yesterday.
Yeah, I don't give a rat's ass about the Heisman Trophy. I never have. I think it's a fake award. Many Heisman Trophy winners don't matter in the NFL. I don't care about it. I really don't care. I'm just being honest.
Okay.
You can name the candidates. You can make your prediction. I don't care.
Okay. Well, it was Jaden Daniels, the quarterback from LSU, Marvin Harrison Jr., wide receiver, Ohio State, Bo Nix, quarterback, Oregon, and, of course, Michael Penix Jr., the quarterback from Washington. Because he was on the best team of those 4, my prediction is Michael Penix Jr., the quarterback for the Washington Huskies, wins the Heisman Trophy.
He probably will. You're right. I think you can make a case for all those guys. I really like Bo Nix, even though he lost twice to Washington. I think Bo Nix is the heart of that Oregon program. I also think Marvin Harrison Jr. made McCord, who now transferred out of Ohio State, as we saw who he was. He's going to be a special talent in the NFL. But again, the Heisman Trophy winner, I have one of my own NFL team. I don't care about the fact Devontae Smith won the Heisman. I don't care. I think it's a stat award, a lot like the MVP, though I think the MVP is the most valuable player in college football. Some of these teams, are Heisman candidates, and they're not even in the college football playoff.
Yeah. I mean, there's people saying Jaden Daniels, the quarterback for LSU, should win the award.
I've heard that argument.